Good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me, or do I need to turn the volume up? Turn it up?
Yeah.
Speak louder? Is that better?
Yes.
There we go. All right, welcome to Triad. My name is Dawn Burkhalter. I am the Public Education Coordinator for the Manhattan Fire Protection District. So if any of you do live in Manhattan, is there anybody from Manhattan here? Usually we have one or two. Marissa Schreiber is my counterpart from the New Lenox Fire Protection District. So if you live in New Lenox's Fire Protection District, feel free to give her a call. Or Dan Martin, I know, does a lot of the disaster preparedness for New Lenox. So we're going to talk to you guys about being prepared. Now, we do this every year in March because we're working on preparedness, right? We saw last night firsthand throughout the United States, we already started having tornadoes and other disasters. So we're going to go through a couple of things. I handed out a few handouts that we'll talk through and that you guys can actually take home, fill out with your families. All right, so we live in a weather-prone country, right? Tornadoes. Did we have an earthquake in Illinois yesterday or the day before? Yes, we did, didn't we? People tend to forget about the fault lines that were on here. Let's see, we had tornadoes in November last year, right? Very unusual, went through Manhattan, Frankfurt area. Annually, we have about 10,000 thunderstorms, 25,000 floods, 1,000 tornadoes, and 6 deadly hurricanes. That's the average. What do we see more often? We see house fires. Those are still disasters, right? So we're used to the natural disasters like weather, but we still have other disasters. A school shooting could be a disaster, so don't get stuck on weather. We're going to kind of touch on a few different things, all right? So most of us take action after the fact, don't we? Let's see your hands if you have a kit, an emergency kit ready to go with food and water and clothes. I see 2 hands, 3 hands, 3 hands. I applaud you guys for having your kits ready. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and we're going to make some simple suggestions that you guys can take home today and over the course of a period of time, put a kit together with things you have already in your home. All right, so I'm going to show you a little video, and hopefully the sound is going to work for me here. This is put on by FEMA, but I think it does explain things very well.
We live in Appleton, Tennessee, which is just outside of Chattanooga.
All right, let me grab you a better volume here.
We've been in this area 27 years, and other than one tornado bouncing through a couple of times, nothing serious has happened. The oceans are not a problem here. Earthquakes are generally not a problem. We're safe from a flood up here on the Gulf, so I didn't really think about being prepared for an emergency. But I did see the billboards, and especially on one route that I drive to Chattanooga, there's one ready.gov billboard, and I always notice it. I don't know why, I just always notice it. And it just got me to thinking about maybe I need to take this seriously. Ready.gov was in my mind, and so I went to the website and started collecting information on what I needed to do. It has everything listed out, so they make it really easy. I knew I didn't have time to do it all, but I knew that I could do just a little bit at a time. And within 7 months, the tornado hit, and we were glad we were prepared. We were all home for the evening. I had not been monitoring the storms that had been going through during the day, so I had no idea things had been happening. And suddenly the lights flickered, and I turned to my husband, who was sitting there at his computer, and I said, "Something is weird out there." And he screamed, "Run." The tornado went right down the center of the road, the center of our property, and demolished our property. And it was just totally wiped out. We had water coming into the house, multiple trees on top of the roof. We had 2 vehicles that were smashed by trees. But when the emergency crews got there to help, I said, I have food, I have water, I have a way to cook, we have candles, we have flashlights and batteries. I said, we're fine, go to someone else. Part of my neighbor's house, I like to think that by being prepared, I was able, in a way, to help the people that were out rescuing, because by not having to help me, they were able to go take care of other people. Come on, girl. It took 5 days before we got water. It took 7 or 8 days before we got power back. What I am happiest about was not that my life was comfortable, but that I was able to stay here. I didn't have to rely on anybody else. I was taking care of myself. I was taking care of my family. We were prepared. It's just a secure feeling.
Okay, so how many of us are prepared to be without electricity, running water for 5 days? Anybody in this room? I see a couple of hands. That's good, that's good. All right, so that video just kind of shows us, and could that happen here? Absolutely it could, absolutely it could. All right, so by being prepared, of course, we give you guys the tools to help yourselves, right? Because she said people came to help her, and she said, please go help others that need it, okay? The fire departments and the police departments may not be able to help you in a disaster right away. It may be a couple of days before you get help, okay? So we're asking you to become a little bit self-sufficient, have a few supplies ready to go, that if you were stuck inside when we had the blizzard a couple of years ago, right? We were stuck inside for a couple of days. Some of us couldn't get out for 3 days, right, because of the snow. So we're asking, just keep those things in your house. Now, many of us do have things like canned food, bottled water, things. So you guys are well on your way to having your kit ready to go. If you're prepared, it's going to reduce your anxiety, okay? When a tornado comes through, where's our anxiety level? Really high, right? We're worried about ourselves, our friends, our neighbors, our pets, our animals, okay? This is going to help us be a little bit less anxious and be able to do what we need to do. All right, and of course, preparedness also reduces the burdens on us, the first responders. So you guys, in turn, are helping us by being prepared. All right, so the first thing we're going to ask you guys to do at some point is to fill out an emergency card. I gave everybody one of these. If you did not get one, let me know. I have plenty. These emergency cards should be completed for all of your members of your household. So if you have, you know, a family of 5 at home, each of you should carry one of these, and carry it somewhere where you have it at all times, your wallet, a purse, a backpack, whatever you carry with you, okay? What this includes is local emergency contact names, an out-of-town contact name, and then a neighborhood meeting place. Now, I don't know about you, but when a catastrophe happens, you tend to forget things. If I don't have my phone with my cell numbers in there, I would never know anybody's phone number. So this is a really good way to have the numbers available to you and not on an electronic device, okay? We have an out-of-town emergency contact name because if the phones go down in town, you're still able to reach someone out of town, say on a cell, if the phone systems are down locally. Other information you can put on here, your doctor's names and telephone numbers, employers, anything that you may think you may need in an emergency. So say your purse or your wallet were the only things you were able to get out with, what information would you want to put on this little card? Okay, does that make sense? Maybe if your spouse works, maybe their workplace number might go on here, so you can check on them to make sure they're okay. All right, so a very simple card. We give you guys a sleeve to throw it in, and then throw it in your purse or in your wallet, and just keep it in there tucked away in case you ever need it. All right, so this is just showing you the card. All right, the next step is your family plan. Okay, I've also handed everybody out a family plan. Okay, again, we want this in writing. We don't want this electronic. Electronics may not work in a disaster, correct? So your emergency plan is more detailed. The things you may need in an emergency that you're not able to get off of your phone or an electronic device. It includes telephone numbers, social security numbers, medical information for families. You can put insurance information on there, doctors, workplaces. Other important locations. Do you normally pick up your grandchildren at school? Do you normally pick them up at a church function? You may want to put that information on there, how to get a hold of those places, or even the addresses. So take the time to go through this, fill this form out, and keep it in your disaster kit, basically, and then you have it. Something pretty easy to do. All right. Okay, so we talked about a kit. We all know food and water, very easy, right? We all have canned food. We all have bottled water. We want to make sure we have enough for each person for 3 days. We also want to have a NOAA weather radio. How many of us have a weather radio at home? Okay, so next year at this time, I would love to see all of those hands go up. A weather radio is so very important. I will tell you that we depend on the outdoor sirens all too often. Outdoor sirens are meant for those who are outside, not those of us who are in the house. So if you're in the house and you're not listening to the radio and you don't have the TV on, how would you know that there's a weather emergency going on? The NOAA weather radio is meant to alert you immediately of a threat. Okay? They sell those at Walgreens and Doc's Drugs, probably Walmart, any of those stores. You can get them for 20, 30 bucks. You don't need a high end, and your fire departments or the police departments can probably help you get those set up to set them up to your county. Mine at home is not set to go off for everything. I set mine up to just go off for tornado warnings, tornado watches, thunderstorm warnings, thunderstorm watches, the important things to me that I would want to be alerted for and woken up in the middle of the night for, okay? And that's another thing, the middle of the night, who's going to tell you there's an emergency, okay? So if you don't have a weather radio, definitely take the time, go check them out. If you have questions, ask the police or fire departments, and we'd be happy to help you. In our kit, we definitely need a can opener, right? That would be the thing I would forget. I would have all this wonderful food in my kit and no can opener to open anything, okay? A can opener is very important. Flashlight with batteries, okay? And switch those batteries out when you change your smoke alarm batteries. That's the easiest way to remember that. That way they're always good. Personal hygiene items, right? We all need our toothbrush and toothpaste, right? And toilet paper. A first aid kit. A whistle to be able to get people's attention if you need help, right? A whistle is a sound that's not normal to people. So when they hear a whistle, they're going to perk up, be alert, and try and help to find you. Copies of any important documents you may have. We always suggest if you're going to have those documents, seal them up somehow, whether in a Ziploc baggie or have laminated, something that if there was a flood that they would still be a little bit protected. Blankets and towels. Change of clothing, right? And a durable container. These are basics. Do we have all these things in our home right now? Absolutely, we do. So once a week, pick one item and put it into a bin. And then by the end of a month or two, you have most of these basic items ready to go. All right. And this is just a picture of a kit. The website that's on all of your materials I gave you, the Gear Up, Get Ready, does have all this information. So if you wanted to go back and check some of the stuff out or print out more emergency plans, anything like that, you definitely can go to that website. All right. So think about your family. Do you guys have unique needs? Do you have grandchildren that live with you? Do you have pets? Do you have someone requiring a walker or a cane? Medications. How hard is it to get the pharmacy to give you an extra week's worth of medication? It's very difficult, okay? We go on vacation and we try to get one extra week's worth, and it's like pulling teeth sometimes. But think about things like that for your kit. Cash or traveler's checks, okay? How long has it been since we've seen traveler's checks? Not too often anymore, right? But cash is going to be the most spendable thing in a disaster. If you have young children, formula, baby food, toys. If it's winter time, we would throw some extra blankets, things in the kit. You may want to create like a go kit, which would be like a backpack with some of these supplies if you were ever having to leave your home. Say there was an emergency where they made you leave your home, you may need a kit to take that stuff with you. A car kit is also a good thing. How many of us have jumper cables in our car? Not too many, not too many, about half. Warm clothing, sleeping bags, kitty litter, things in the back of your car for winter, right? My husband always makes fun of me. I have an entire tote in the back of my car full of boots, snow pants, a coat, scarves, gloves, okay, everything that I would need. I got my jumper cables. If I'm ever stranded, I should be good. The just in case bag, I call it. All right, so talking about older adults and being prepared, I just want to have you guys think of a couple of things. As we age, we have things like we may need oxygen. When the power goes out, what happens to your oxygen? We may have an issue there. If you're homebound and unable to get out, if you needed to evacuate, what would you do? If you walked with a walker or were in a wheelchair, would you be able to get downstairs, or how would you be mobile enough to get where you need to go? So as older adults or people with disabilities, the same alike, we need to take extra steps to be prepared and talk with our families or our local police and fire departments to see how we can be prepared. Will County is great. They have actually a piece of paper that you can fill out to let the county know if you have any special circumstances. I had somebody come in the other day, his wife is on oxygen. He wanted to let us know so that we could put it in our computer program, so when we went on a call there, we would know. So now we know, A, if there's a fire there, he has oxygen tanks and a compressor, and B, if the power ever goes out, we know that somebody needs to attend to their needs. Okay, and I'm going to show you where to find that sheet to fill it out in just a minute. Consider a cart for your kit on wheels, like a rolling suitcase. Okay, that's really easy. Then we don't have to lift it up. We just roll it out to wherever we need to go. Label your wheelchairs, your walkers, your canes, anything with your name, address, and your phone number. Okay? If it gets lost, we want it to come back to you. We want everybody to know it belongs to you. And we talked about the medications, and again, your important documents. Don't forget about your prescriptions, okay? We all know that if we don't take them daily, we start to have problems after that. So even if you can get just a couple of days put in your kit, and then every so often rotate the medications out. Birth certificates, insurance policies again. Post emergency numbers near your phone, okay? Your doctors, your local and out of area contacts. How many of you guys have a phone list near your phone? How many of us count on our cell phone for all of our numbers? Some of us do, right? I would be lost. My children would be lost because they don't know how to dial anybody's number without looking it up in a cell phone, okay? We're starting to lose that. I used to have everybody's number memorized, and I don't anymore, okay? So keep that list, because in an emergency, your adrenaline's going and nothing pops into mind, and you're like, I know that number, and it just doesn't come up. All right, keep things like your hearing aids, your glasses, things close to the bed, your walkers, your canes, crutches, anything, near the bed. If there was an emergency at night, we want you to be able to get up, grab those close items that you need, and be able to evacuate if need be, okay? Think about a fire, okay? You knew I'd have to bring in fire because I'm the fire department, right? Think about a fire. The smoke alarm goes off. You're sound asleep in bed. And if you need glasses, how easy would it be to navigate without your glasses if you really absolutely need them? How easy would it be to navigate without your cane? Okay, so start thinking things like that. So I always say, if you've got a nightstand right there, your glasses, your hearing aids, everything needs to be right next to you, so they're easy to grab them and get out. All right. Okay, so I've asked this before, but I will ask again. How many of us do a fire drill of sorts or an escape drill at home? Anybody? Kathy? You, okay? Awesome, 2, which is really good. I'd like to see the rest of you do it, or at least talk to the people in your home about it, okay? If you practice it, you start to learn it, and it's easy to do without thinking, okay? I always tell my kids with their spelling words, you need to do your spelling words every day. And then by Friday, guess what? They can do them without even thinking about it, okay? Home escape drills are the same way. The more you do it, the more you practice it, the more you're going to know. Can you get those windows open? Can you get the screen open? Okay, what if you can't get out the door? Now what? Are you on the second floor? Are you in the basement? Are you in an apartment building? Are you in a high rise? Okay. So talk to your family about escaping, not even just a fire, but in case you needed to leave your home for some other reason. Say there was a hazardous materials leak. The police may knock on your door and say, A, we either need you to stay, or we need you to go, okay? And you won't have a half hour to grab everything you need to go. It's you need to go now, okay? If you need assistance with evacuating, again, I'm going to show you how Will County can help us with that. Or again, contact your local police or fire department. We can help you create those routes. Or if you have any disabilities or anybody home with that, we're happy to help you. Just give us a call. If you're instructed to evacuate, use specified routes. Now, there's not too many routes around here. I know if you live around the power plants, we get a flyer every year in the mail that says if the power plant were to ever have a problem, this is exactly what we want you to do, these are the roads we want you to take, and this is how we want you to go. Okay, we don't have too much of that around here. How many of us go to Florida or somewhere where there's a hurricane season? Couple of us, okay? When we go to Florida, we always see the routes posted on the roads. So just be aware whether you're here or on vacation somewhere. All right, so I'm going to show you guys Will County's. They have a little video talking about signing up for their registry. And this is through Will County EMA on their website. If you do not have internet access, I'm happy to mail you or send you the information. Just let me know. Grab me before you leave today. Otherwise, it's willcountyema.org. And I can't make it any bigger, so I'm sorry.
Come look at this, sweetie. I found something interesting on the Will County Emergency Management Agency webpage.
Oh, really? What'd you find?
It gives you information on how to be prepared in case of an emergency.
Honey, do we need to register?
It says the program is for people most vulnerable to emergencies and disasters, people with some type of physical impairment, who are confined to their home and have no transportation, or live alone and have no assistance in the area, or those who need electricity to power their medical equipment.
That sounds very helpful. I think we should register.
I agree. One way to register is to print the form and mail it into the Will County Emergency Management Agency, or you can fill it out online and submit it electronically. It explains that county only shares this information with the health department, police, fire, and other emergency workers to assist them in responding to a disaster or emergency.
That sounds great. Look at the bottom.
All right, so I'm just going to show you where that is on their website to make it kind of easy here. All right, bear with me. I'm going to shrink this back down. Okay, so we are on willcountyema.org. And right to the right side here, see the special needs population? I'll try to pull it up to the top. You just need to click register here, all the way top right corner. And it'll bring you to the special needs population registry page. Just follow the directions. It has questions and answers, what you can do. It talks about who special needs populations are. And like they said, this is for the health department, the police, and the fire. Okay, when we go on a fire run, okay, we have a fire call. If there's something special at that home, when that address pops up for me on my screen, it's going to tell me if there's special needs there or any problems if somebody had sent something to us. Okay, so I have homeowners that have Knox boxes so that if they're unable to get to the door, I can get inside. So when I go to those addresses, it pops up on my screen that they have a Knox box, and it tells me exactly where it is so that I can enter the residence through that special key box. So keep this in mind, and it kind of goes through and tells you how to fill everything out. So that is available to you, and again, if you need more information, please let me know. All right. How many of us have pets? Just a couple in this group, not very many. Okay. All right. I do want to touch on pets because we start thinking disaster, and pets are a part of our family. Okay. Pets are also impacted. They are an extra thing for us to think about and stress about. Think about things like in a disaster. What if it's not safe for your pet to go outside to go to the bathroom? Okay, it's dangerous outside. They have to stay inside. Would you need to think of that ahead of time? You're away from your home and there's an emergency. Do you have somebody that can go get to your pet and help you out? These are all things to think of. So we just ask, and I handed out a sheet for those that have pets. Just take a look at that sheet and see what you need to do, because pets are definitely part of our family. The biggest things, make sure they're ID'd and it's current. Okay, I've seen constantly on Facebook lately that pets are missing, and they scan them and the tags are wrong. Okay, they contact those numbers, those people, and they're not correct. So keep all of their ID information up to date. Make sure they have a collar on. Pet food, should that go in your kit? Absolutely. Medication, hygiene items, litter boxes for cats, things like that. And your contact information for your vet. If you need to move them, do you have a harness or a leash or something nearby to be able to move them in a hurry? Are there places that can house your pets? Say your home is destroyed. Do you have a kennel that you can send them to, or a friend that would take them? Things, if you figure these things out ahead of time, again, it decreases your anxiety. How will you evacuate with your pets? Somebody in here has 3 dogs, okay? She's going to need to think about how she's going to evacuate with 3 dogs, and they're not 3 little dogs either, okay? So so think about those things with whatever pets. If you have a bird, how are you going to evacuate with a bird? Somebody had a lizard, I think. So just think about those things ahead of time, then you're not going to stress when the time comes. They suggest putting a sticker in your window identifying the number and type of pets in your home. The biggest thing is I would put a recent photo of your pet in your kit, so that if for some reason the dog, cat, something gets loose, you're able to show people the picture of who you're looking for. Hurricane Katrina was a big one for pets missing and people trying to find them. So have a current picture of your pet. We used to have a current picture of your kid, now we want one of your pet too, okay? All right, any questions about preparedness as far as pets getting out? And again, preparedness meaning natural disasters and other disasters. No? Okay, so a couple of things just to clarify. I think this is always that area where everybody gets confused. We all hear the siren go off the first Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock. If you're in Manhattan, then we have BP Pipeline that decides to set their siren off at some unusual time, and then we get 50 calls of what's the emergency, okay? So know your area, know what's here. I don't know if New Lenox has any other sirens go off, just the one? Great, okay. So 10 o'clock on Tuesday is typically the outdoor siren test. If you don't hear it at 10 o'clock on Tuesday, you need to call the village or the township and say, I didn't hear the sirens, okay, if you're outside. They're meant for those that are outside to go inside and take shelter. Other alerting systems, the TV, we've all seen how the bar comes across the bottom or the whole screen will show, and they do tests on that also. Radio, phone calls. In Will County, the dispatch centers can do a reverse 911. So if there was something of special need that you need to know in a hurry, they can send a message out by a reverse 911 system. So you might get an automated call or a voice call that says, there's a gas leak in your area, please stay indoors, close all windows. Okay, we have the ability to do that. We talked about the NOAA weather radios, so everybody's going to go out and check those out, right, after today, so that we are ready for spring. Social media, okay, social media is huge right now. How many of us are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Okay, I think your hand's the only one up way in the back. Okay, social media is great. Should we count on social media? Absolutely not. I saw somebody put something out that was from a year ago from a disaster. That's not going to help me, okay? Don't rely on social media, okay? Rely on your alert systems, your sirens, your NOAA weather radio. And the NOAA weather radio is probably the best one that you can have, okay? When the weather radio goes off or when the emergency alert system goes off, listen to the message. They're going to tell you what to do, okay? If it's a warning, it means do it now, whatever they tell you. If it's a tornado warning, it means either one spotted or it's the ability to have one right now is happening, okay? I had a local place that their weather radio went off, the tornado sirens went off, and they thought it was okay to release kids to go home. It's not the case. You don't have time at that point. When those sirens go off and when the tornado warnings go off, it means right now. Find the basement, find the center of the house, somewhere to take cover, okay? Any questions? Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today. And if you have any questions, definitely contact your local fire or police departments and we can help you with all of your disaster preparedness needs.
Thank you.
Okay.